Rolling. It's a beautiful sound. How many times a day do you hear that?
Just once. Hopefully. It depends on the miles. It depends on the workouts. I was gonna nap today.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had this goal of like napping today. Amanda is not here. She went for Thanksgiving, and long story, but I was like, I'm gonna nap. I was like, I haven't been alone since like August.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been alone. And I'm like, dude, I was like, I'm gonna nap today. And then I look at my watch, and it was like, you slept 9 hours. You have a 99 sleep score. And I was like, I don't need a nap.
They were good.
Today. I was like, I don't need a nap. So let's just push 500 milligrams of caffeine and see what happens.
Done. I love it. Just another day. I love it. Well, so Matt Johnson, we're back. Running it back. We podcasted about 2 months ago, and we were preparing for you to run across Texas, talking about the plan and everything, and you did that shit. So It's time to talk about what all happened. So really happy to have you back here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blessing. You know, like I tell everybody, especially, you know, like relating this back to the military, like in these big events, like you plan because, you know, and you have plan A, B, C, D, and E because shit will go wrong.
Yeah.
Like that is just a given. Shit always goes wrong. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing went wrong. Like we had no hiccups. We had no injuries. We had a little injury at the very, very end. We did have to like switch out RVs at one point, but like there was a couple things, but like nothing went wrong that slowed us down or that like I knew about at the time. You know what I mean? Because like my crew made sure I didn't know these things that were going on. So to me, nothing went wrong. We set the record for the fastest time to cross Texas, and it was incredible. And as soon as we finished, like I missed it immediately. And I would do it again and again and again and again. I would do it over again. If someone came to me right now and was like, hey, you need this much to make it happen. Here it is. Go do it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
That's huge.
Like, which is crazy to say, but like that's how much it amazed me. Texas is a state that has a whole country inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, El Paso, mountains to the farmlands, to the cities, to the ocean. Like it's mesmerizing and something that obviously like I will never forget, and something that I'm kind of finding out that like no one will ever forget.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, especially at High Rocks this weekend, every single person that came up to me was like, hey, are you... Bro, no, let's not talk about High Rocks. Let's talk about Costa Rica. I'm in the middle of Costa Rica at this little food truck, and some dude comes up to me, and he's like, are you that guy that ran across Texas?
No way.
In Costa Rica. And I'm like, you know, that's a crazy story in its own. Probably a whole podcast just on how I felt about that. That was wild. But yeah, you know, forever, I think I've solidified like forever being known as the guy that ran across Texas.
Not a bad title.
Which is great because that tells you that we did what we talked about in the last podcast, which was I said, I want to make this a Netflix TV show that people cannot turn off. And we did exactly that. I mean, so many comments on the reels where like as we were finishing, people are like, I feel like my favorite TV show is coming to an end. And, you know, I feel like, in my opinion, you know, we told the best story that has ever been told during an ultra running event ever, hands down. There's never been a story told the way we did it. There has never been a run that had a organized 5K community event in the middle of it, and with a taco truck and with brands and LSKD and you know, we did so many things that people have never done. And I'm so excited to help people in the future that want to do something like this as well. I can't wait until someone reaches out to me and was like, yo, I want to run across Texas. And I'm like, let's do it. What can I do to help? So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And something you touched on with the TV show aspect of it, the feeling. So a few weeks after you finish, maybe it was like 2 weeks or something, we're at Squatch for LSKD workout. And part of me was like, holy shit, Matt's here. He just...
That wasn't, bro, that was like 3 days after.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
My lips were still burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember like people were making fun of my lips. Yeah, because I got 3rd-degree burns on my lips. Yeah.
Insane.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good.
I was like, whoa. That was hours.
Didn't even sleep.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing you there. I was like, holy shit, like he just like, why is he here working out? And then part of me is like, oh, it's Matt. Like I'm not surprised at all. But I remember talking to you during the workout and you were like, the fulfillment of you talking about, we did what we were supposed to do, not just get to the finish line, but we created a product that people were so excited to see. They were sad to see it come to an end because they were so invested in it. And just seeing your eyes light up talking about that was so special. Like, yes, you raised a ton of money. Yes, you challenged yourself. You had a good crew around you. You had about 100 people in Austin show up to run a 5K. But that aspect of like, we did exactly what I wanted to do. We inspired people around the world.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, that's something very cool, right? Because like this started as a selfish idea. Like this was my idea. I wanted to run across the state of Texas. This was mine. And then, you know, sitting back and sitting in that for a couple months, right? We had 13 months from the time that the idea came to me to the time that we ran. And, you know, over time, like watching it change over and over and over. And people are like, why are you doing this? And watching the why change over and over and over. And then getting down to, right, just like you would write a paper, right? Like we're rough draft. And then you get down to the final product and you write out the final product. And you're like, this is exactly how I want to do it. And then you do it, you look back at the final product and it was exactly how we said we were going to do it. And, you know, that fires me up, you know, just as much as, you know, the event itself, right? Like I didn't tell anybody. I literally told nobody. Like I wanted that record. And, you know, but I didn't want it to be about that.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be about the veterans and raising the money. But personally, like, I wanted that record and I got the record. And I wanted to raise the single most amount that Valor Fit has ever received. And we did that by over $8,000. So their biggest donation ever, I think, was like 22K, and we're going to give them 30.
It's amazing.
And, you know, as well as being able to tell the story, as well as documenting it right. And, you know, I've said this thousands and thousands of times, and I will for the rest of my life. Like, I owe that, you know, I owe the documentation to Drew Darby, because without him, like, I think I said this on the last one, like, I had the easiest job. I just woke up and I run. Like, that's it. You know, but without him, that story would have never been told. So it was like assembling this dream team of Avengers, right? Of like, you know, having Rob, like Rob is the crew chief, like Rob crewed Paul Johnson across America. Having him, having Drew Darby on content, literally live editing reels and posting them as we were moving down the highway through Starlink.
Yep.
And then, you know, Amanda being there with me and Brett being there and Caleb McCoy being there, who was there to learn about his own transcon that he's going to do. And it was perfect.
Yeah, I love that. One thing that most people don't know still, you talked about it a couple of times, but before the race happened, you were in jeopardy of not even doing it, right? Dealing with an injury, doctors saying, I don't know if you should be running this race, this distance.
Yeah.
And you went like ghost on Strava for a little bit. Everybody's like, why is Matt not running? He's supposed to run. Like, is he giving up on himself?
Yeah.
So you're like answering questions and trying to navigate like, hey, what the hell is possible right now?
Yeah.
Talk us through that moment where you're like, my legs might not be in the condition to do this. And is it possible? Am I still going to do this? What was going on in your mind?
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, 5 weeks out, go back to September of last year, I had three major stress fractures in the left leg. 5 weeks out after 2 weeks of running 150 miles in a row, stepped out of bed, leg was absolutely destroyed. And I knew, like, I was like, something is seriously wrong. Went and got an MRI. They found 7 different things. They found 3 spots of severe bone edema, which is what precedes a stress fracture. They found fluid on the ankle, diagnosed me with Achilles tendonitis. Just like the whole left leg was just demolished. So they found 7 different things wrong with the leg, that each one of those things warranted taking anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks off. And I called this PT and I was like, should I go? Absolutely not. Called this PT, should I go? Probably not. Called this ortho, and this ortho's like, you're not going to be able to do this. And so, yeah, it was very hard for me. And yeah, so like the bad part is that, right, like we live in the social media age, and my Strava is consistently uploading. And, you know, I dropped a 0 on Strava because I didn't run that whole week. And people were like commenting on my, you know, like, why are you not running? Why are you not running? Why are you not running? And I played it off like, we're taking an unconventional approach. Like,
want to make it harder.
Yeah, like I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, and then the next week, you know, after I took off, like I was still in pain, but I was like, if I drop 2 zeros in a row, like people, I was worried about brands getting nervous, right? Because brands came on to support us, you know, to make it possible. And I was worried about like brands seeing that and like brands like pulling out or something like that. So I ran through like a lot of pain, and I just dropped a 70-mile week. And people were then coming, they're like, dude, we thought you were hurt. Like, we thought, and I was like, yeah, if you only knew. Like, so, you know, it was very hard. There was a lot of hard conversations where everyone was involved. My coach was involved. My manager, Lisa, was involved. Drew was involved. You know, a lot of conversations on like, do we push it back? Because we were like, okay, we could push it back a week, give myself another extra week of recovery. Or we could, you know, not push it back and then chance like not being fully healed. And for me, it was like, okay, if I push this back and I am healed and I'm fine and I don't have any more pain, then I'm going to be really, really upset when it comes October 1 and I'm not crossing the state. Mm-hmm. And so I made the choice. My coach, everyone wanted me to delay. And I made the choice and I said, I'm not going to delay. Like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. It's already set in stone. I'm like, we're gonna go. And I remember having a conversation with Drew, that Drew had a conversation with my manager Lisa. So content guy had a conversation with my manager, and their conversation was, because when we were like a day out, and Drew and I were walking together a day from finishing, and we were walking together, and I was like, do you think we're gonna set the record? And he's like, no. And then I found out about this conversation, and he had a conversation with Lisa where it was like, I know he's gonna do it, but I don't know how long we're gonna be out here. So like Drew knew, you know, being my best friend, being around all the time, like Drew knew that it was gonna be done, but he was like, I thought that there was a chance that it was gonna take us 30 days. And he's like, and I was ready for that. And then he pointed back to like, he made this post. He had control of my Instagram. He made this post like the night before, and he was like, tomorrow, run across Texas until we're done. And, you know, so, and then I think back to me seeing that. I didn't think anything of it at the time, you know, but like he had just made this post, and it was like, hey, like no matter what, like we're going to be out there until this is finished. Yeah. And thank God that was 17 and not 30. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I remember even writing out on a piece of paper where I'm like, I remember writing 17 days, 49 miles a day, 21 days, X amount of miles, 25 days, X amount of miles, 30 days, X amount of miles. Yep. Because I wanted to be able to see, because I was nervous. I mean, I was never scared, but I was nervous that it was going to be rough. But mentally, like, you know, I got myself into a place where like I had so many people involved. Like we had raised so much money through brands, you know, we had already paid out so much money to make this happen, and we had already raised, before we even started, like right under, you know, $8,000 for Valor Fit. And I was like, there's too much, like I will break my leg in half. Yeah. Like I will straight up break my leg in half on the highway before this does not happen. Dumb, completely dumb. But like that's where like, I felt like I was back against the wall. Yeah. Like, and I had nowhere to go. And it was like, you know, like this scene of like Gladiator, right? Where it was like, I have no choice but to fight my way out of this. And there was no stepping back. There was no stepping to the side. It was one step straight forward. And I had no choice because there was too many things in motion. Mm-hmm. It was either start on October 1 or start on October 7th. That was it. That was the only choices that we had to make. Yeah, for sure. Something you're not shy about, and I admire this about you, is your faith. And in that time period, 5 weeks before, figuring out what is the next step, what's going to happen, what role did prayer have in all of this? Oh, all of it.
Yeah.
Like instantly. You know, like and this will, you know, already by the time this is out, the Red Rocks podcast is out. And I hope that if, you know, listeners here, if you are listening to this, I'm hoping that you had listened to that. If you haven't listened to that, go listen to it, because you will hear so much more in depth on this exact story that we're talking about. But, you know, there was a lot of things that happened. And if I go into that right now, this whole podcast will turn into that. So please go listen to that podcast. But I will say this, God is real, and God is in your corner. And my invitation to you is watch anyone in an elite sport doing something elite, and they will be telling you how much they are thanking God for where they are. And I saw God move over and over and over again before, during, and after the run across Texas. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I gave in to God at the beginning of the year. Literally, I think it was New Year's Eve. And I gave in and I said, that's when I began to switch my prayers from like, I want this, to like, what do you want me to do? What is your direction for me? And then, so, obviously, I had so much success doing that. And, I've had nothing but blessings come my way. And then next thing you know, now I'm hurt. And I'm like, why is this happening to me? And it was revealed multiple times why. Because it gave me a story to talk to people during the run across Texas, to tell them my story and for them to tell me something even worse. And then them saying to me, now I realize that God, that here's my saying, and this is only my saying, and the Red Rocks pastors laughed at me with this, but this is true. I'm not a preacher, but I am here to tell you, I believe that Jesus will not hurt you, but I believe that like he would kick you in the shin.
Yeah.
And, bad things do not come of the Lord. But if you're not on the right path, I believe that like there will be bumps in the road to try to steer you the other way. Mm-hmm. And I was doing things this summer, overtraining and, becoming a recluse and, staying away from my friends. And Amanda was gone in Avalon and not talking to Amanda for days. And I was doing things that I promised I would never do again because I'd done those before. And I just feel like this was a little kick in the shin of like, hey, like you said you weren't going to do this. Like, I needed that. I needed that little hurt to say, whoa. Okay. I'm sorry. Like I forgot, you're in charge. I'm not in charge. Like, you are on the throne and I am not, because I was beginning to put myself on the throne a little bit. Mm-hmm. And take charge of my own life, and forgot that it was, what do you want from me? Not, I want this for myself. So I'll say that now. And, there's multiple prayers involved. Please, if you have not, go listen to the Red Rocks podcast. You will hear an hour of my entire testimony about that. And I hope that it will, I think that it will completely change your outlook. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I'm not here. I'm not perfect. Yeah. I'm not here to preach to people. But I am here. I'm not here to tell you that you should do this or you should act a certain way, because I don't believe in that. I believe that God is real and God is on the throne, and a simple prayer to him, telling him that you give him the power and that you will follow his path. And if you truly live like that, my entire life changed. Mm-hmm. I am the picture perfect analogy for that. And when you have lived that, when you have lived in these moments where God reveals himself to you, you are so on fire to share it. And that's why, like, I just keep telling people, I'm like, I'm not a preacher. I'm not preaching to you. I don't care. If you don't believe, I don't care. But I'm telling you, you should, because I've lived it. I've seen God in the flesh during the run across Texas. Mm-hmm. We have it on video of like this guy coming to pray for us that had no idea who we were and points me out, and it's crazy. It's all crazy. Yeah. It doesn't make sense, and then that's what kind of draws you in to believe even more. So God is real. God is so real and so good. You just have to let him be good.
It's so good. I'm getting chills. It's a good example of
that. Fires me up. Like I get so fired up over that, because just like I said, like, and we had a conversation at Squatch, like, mm-hmm. I have lived it. I have seen God move in my life. And I'm not like, I've seen it. That's it. That's it. It's done. And the sad part is that, like, you know, I think about this, right? When people don't believe in God, and it's okay if you don't. I wish you would, you know, and I'll have a conversation with you if you want. If not, I don't care. Like, it's your life. I'm not here to tell you how to live it. But you think of these people, right? Like, someone stands up on top of a chair and it's like, well, if God's real, he'll knock this chair out from under me. You're not looking for God. You're looking for this chair to be knocked over.
Yep.
You know, like, I don't know. I don't understand how, now that I've been here and I've been through all the bad shit in my life, now that I've been here and I see God move, it's like, how could you not just, I'm telling you, you give God 30 days of you actually believing and you praying, what do you want from me? What do you want for me to do? And you live your life the best you can to serve him, and you will see movement within your life. And it blows my freaking mind that people don't do that.
Yeah.
That's where I started. I said, okay, fine. You show me. Show me. And guess what? He did.
Yep.
And here I am today with 10 times more in every aspect. Happiness, love, money, friendship. Everything has 10x. It's not me. It's not me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
That's so good. It's a powerful movement before you start this race. So you go through that, you're praying on it, you're preparing yourself physically, mentally. You get to El Paso the first day. Adrenaline's high. You get a community there in El Paso to send you off, run with you for a little bit. What was that first day like?
A fucking sandstorm. Literally, El Paso said, welcome to Texas. Here's a sandstorm with 60-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah.
No, really, like the vibes were high. We took off with everybody, and right into the run. I think 7 miles in, there's a video of me, and like, I wasn't prepared for like I had to like take like a gator neck and like put it up, and my sunglasses and a headband, and like to the point where like it was scratching my skin. And we're running, and people are like, there hasn't been a sandstorm here all year. And there's one today. And so, yeah, right off the bat, I mean, day one was 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, 6,000 feet of climbing in 47 miles. You know that clip of SpongeBob where he's holding the pizza?
Yeah.
And he's walking. That was me. That was me running out of El Paso. But no, day one was a vibe. It was awesome. Like, obviously, like, no pains. Like, it was cool. You know, everyone was kind of getting in the swing of things. Caleb was training for the Indianapolis Marathon, so he was like running out and backs like while we're running down the highway so he could get his miles in. You know, the crew was like, everyone was happy. Like, you know, here we go. And everyone, there was like 10 different people that PR'd with me coming out of El Paso they ran 20. Because what we were doing is we were running. It ended up this, but it was 20 that day. We would run 15. We would get in the RV and we would eat, and usually that was around like 10:30. And we would eat at 15 miles, and then we would run 15 to 30, and then we would eat and as in like eat like a real meal, like ground beef and rice. Yeah. And shout out Primal Beef. And we would go to mile 30, and then the RV would go to the parking point, wherever, somewhere around 45 to 55. I was never going to go 55, but every single day we had to get in the van to drive to the RV. But so the RV would then go find a spot past 45, because 45 was always the daily minimum, and would find a spot to park. And then, we would do that. So the people that came out of El Paso, they came 20 miles with us. I had to take my first break. We sent everyone back. But yeah, day one was, it's all like a fever dream to me. Like it doesn't even seem real. Like I watch it in my head, and it really feels like a dream. Yeah, I bet. You go through day one, day two, you wake up the next day and you're like, shit, I'm doing this again. Like it's real. Probably sets in at that moment. Not really. Like at that point, like I was fine. Okay. Like I was still fine. Wake up day two, and I'm like, because I wasn't like, I wasn't tired, right? Like I got in day two, we got into bed at like 8:30. We slept, we woke up at like 5:30. It's like I got a good night's sleep, sore, but not hurting. Mm-hmm. And day two and three were probably my two favorite days out there, because day two we ran, I don't know if a lot of people know this. Texas has salt flats? I don't know that. Yeah. They're amazing. It looks like a snow field. Huh. Looks like a field of snow. So, and none of us had any idea either. So on the west side of Guadalupe Peak, you were just there.
Yeah.
Yes. On the west side of Guadalupe Peak, if you would have drove, you were right by them.
Okay.
You were literally right by them.
Damn, I wish I knew.
So yeah, so on the west side of Guadalupe Peak, we're coming through and it just like turns to like snow. And I'm like, is that like, I like stopped and I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, Amanda's like, I think it's sand. And then like we like did like, you know, where you take a picture on Instagram, you put the location.
Yeah.
We did that. And it said Salt Flats, Texas. And I'm like, holy shit, you guys. I'm like, this is a salt flat. And you can see Guadalupe Peak like out there.
Yep.
So that was an awesome day. We parked, life was good. And then the next day, like I was still fine, but that was when we got like it was like, hey, so day one was climbing. Day two was all downhill. We did 50 miles like in like 10 hours that day. And then day three, it was like, hey, like you have to climb over Guadalupe. like this is the point to where like the highest point in the entire trip was mile 100. We ran 47 the first day and 50 the second day. So at mile 3, so literally from the time that I started on day 3, it was this.
Good morning, motherfucker.
It was straight up right away. Like right when I started. And I got to 50 the day before and I was like, there's no way I can climb this thing right now. But I'm telling you, like imagine standing at the base of a hill and like, I mean, and it's like, it's like this.
Yep.
And for the podcast, it is fucking steep. And I'm just looking up and I'm like, here we go. And I literally got my trekking poles out. And cause my legs were a little fried.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just gonna we're like, you can't run up that. And I was like, we're gonna take the morning nice and slow, and like we're just gonna hike up this thing. And so all the way up, it was about 6 miles of total climbing. And then it became flat, but like it was about 13, 14 miles of climbing, and then we finally hit the flat. And then it was kind of really, truly, all in all, it was all downhill from there. But that's when, for some reason, I don't know why, but like that's when things start to get fuzzy for me up until we hit Midland. I don't remember a lot in the desert. I do remember like day 4 is when like we started having day 5, day 6, 4 or 5. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. We started having feet issues. My feet were swollen. So we partnered with Mount to Coast, which is my favorite long distance running shoe of all time. There is not a shoe out there from Mount to Coast there is not a shoe out there that is better than Mount to Coast for slow, long distance miles. So we had an 8.5 and we had a 9. And my feet got huge. We ended up buying 10.5s of like Hoka's. So what happened was this is the only like true pain that I had the entire trip, starting on day 4 till the time we were done. I had the worst pain I've ever had in the bottom of my feet in my entire life, hands down. Like it was, every single muscle in the bottom of my feet felt like it was about to explode. And it was weird. Like I'd never experienced anything like that. And I'm like freaking out, right? Like I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like my feet. And Rob's like, yeah, because you're running 50 fucking miles a day. Like, what do you expect? And I'm like, okay. So then like, but my feet were like discolored. Like we actually called Mike McKnight, who's my coach, low carb runner, used to hold all the 200 mile records. And like, we're like, like my feet were like brown, like just blood circulation issues. Like the shit was just weird. And so, we had to battle through that. And luckily we had this CBD, called B as in Bravo Jolly CBD. And it's a veteran who sent me this CBD. And I'm like, this is my only option. Like I started putting it on the bottom of my feet. And I messaged him like, yo, I was like, this is helping. I'm like, do you have anything more powerful? He's like, I can make you a custom batch. I'm like, okay, like whatever the hell that means. Sends me the custom batch. And come to find out, like a normal CBD that like you go buy at Walgreens, to like rub on your body, or like, these CBD rubs are like 1,000 milligrams, right? Old boy with B Jolly sent me 40K, 40,000 milligrams. So we were putting on rubber gloves and wiping this shit just on my feet. Saved my feet. Like brought the swelling down, saved my feet. Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah. 40,000
Yeah.
milligrams of CBD on
Whatever
my
it
feet.
takes.
On my feet.
Somebody asked you a couple months ago before this race was what happens when you get like the midway point? Like, cause you had a checkpoint in El Paso, in and around Austin, people were supporting you. Obviously Galveston was the end. You're getting people, you're close enough to Austin that people are like coming to support and everything. Those days, like 4, 5, 6, 7, you're in pain, everything. What was going like, what are you listening to? What's keeping you going? Cause it's just you and the crew at this point. So talk to that.
There was a stretch, called Death Highway is what like these people on Instagram that lived in the area that were messaging me, calling it, they were telling me to be careful. And we spent a day and a half on one highway. Mm-hmm. Like literally I'm talking like a 4-lane. And, you know, like there was never a question of like, I'm going to quit. Right. But like there was a time where, you know, we got past Death Highway. Well, this was like the series of unfortunate events. Like I was on Death Highway and, you know, to kind of bring it to, you know, like to kind of give you an idea, like where we're sitting right now, like semis were like here and just flying by.
Yep.
And by here for the listener, like I'm talking like maybe another body wide, like way too close. And I had never experienced like a anxiety attack or like anything like that. I never really thought they were real. And it was just 24/7, one semi, another semi, another semi, another semi. And like, I couldn't hear my headphones because it was so loud. Mm-hmm. And I find like I went back to the van, I sat down and I thought I just like needed to sit and I just busted. Like I broke down, like I was bawling. And everyone's like, what? Like what is going on? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I need a second. And I think that was like the point where it just all became real, that like it wasn't gonna, you know, that wasn't gonna go away. Mm-hmm. But the real point was we got to Midland and we rolled into Midland and Midland Run Crew came out and ran with us, like, you know, 8, 9, 10 people. And I was happy-go-lucky and, you know, let's go. We ran into Midland. And that was the day, like, my foot pain was the worst it had ever been. And we get to the end, and we're taking pictures, and, like, no one realizes, but, like, I am, like, we finish, and I draw the line, and, like, I'm fucked. Like, mentally, physically, like, I'm trying my best to take photos and smile and shake hands. And we get in the van, and I sit down, and I instantly, like, I start boo-hooing. Like, baby crying. And I just sat there because that was the moment where I knew, like, I was in the most pain I'd ever been in my entire life. And I knew at that moment that it was, it's not going to go away. Yeah. And like, it is day 7. And you are going to have to face this every single day until you are done. And it hit me like that day where it was like, I can't avoid this pain. Like I'm going to have to go through it. And that was where a quote that I had that I came up with while I was out there is, pain is inevitable. A quote that I came up with out there is pain is inevitable, but it can be defeated. And like that came to me like in that moment. And it was just, but it was so hard because it was like, I knew like, you know, when a workout gets hard, when a set gets hard, when a rep gets hard, like you can just put the weights down. You can just stop on the track. Like I had no choice. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for reference, like the way that I explained the run across Texas and not understanding like what was about to happen was, I had a conversation with someone right before we started, and it was, imagine that, you know, it was like, you know, like, what do you expect? I'm like, okay, like, so the question was like, what do you expect the run across Texas to be like? And what I told them was, imagine that you have a room and you're about to be put into this room and you're going to be tortured, but you don't know what type of torture or how long it's going to last. that was like, that's what I think the run across Texas is going to be like. And that's exactly what it was like.
I believe it.
It was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Hard is relative, right? But like, it wasn't as hard to me as I thought it was going to be, but it was 10 times more painful. It was the worst pain I'd ever been in, which I think overall taught me that like I am more mentally capable than I could have ever imagined, because my mind beat my body. Like my body was like, I'm done. And my mind was like, we're not done until we get there. And in that moment in Midland, I had all of those things come to me at once, and it was just a rush of emotions, and I just bawled and bawled and bawled. And yeah, that night at Midland, and that was kind of like that was kind of the climax. It got way worse after that, but like there was one day, like the adapt day, where my body adapted that day, and everything else after that was cake. But this was day 7. We go into Midland. We stay at my mom's. One of my really good friends, Copeland, comes in, and he's a ranger, and he drove from Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
All the way to Midland to run with me. And he ran with me, I think, for like 7-8 hours. And so boo-hooing the day before, then we stay at my mom's, then Copeland shows up at literally 5 a.m. Like, they told me they had a surprise, I didn't know what it was, and it was him showing up. He ran with me, these other guys ran with me. Like, that day was great. That was day 8. Day 9 was good, and then you have day 10. And day 10 shows up, and I was talking to Paul Johnson a lot about this, who he ran across America this year. And I think you and I talked about this, right? Where it was like day 3 to 7 is going to be like the worst day of your life.
Yep.
It was day 10, bud.
Way to go.
Yeah, day 10. It was just, I don't know. I woke up and I was mentally fucked, physically fucked. Like everything was wrong. I had a piss poor attitude. Those days where just everything is wrong and you're just upset at the world and you just need to take a breath. That was me that day. And I that was the day where, actually, no, this one never came out, but I was violently puking on the side of the road. We had to run down a gravel road. It was 100 degrees. Like, I had to run down a gravel road that had rocks that were like this big, and I'm rolling my ankles left and right, and I'm over it. And that was the day where, now you will laugh, that was the peanut butter.
Peanut butter, yep.
Where I'm sitting in there just like with this peanut butter, and I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. Just like, and it was horrible. It was the worst day ever. And I'm like, we're screwed. I'm like, we are done for. Like that day we ran like 45 miles. And I'm like, we're done. It's over. Like, the record is gone. Like, this is going to be horrible the rest of the way. And wake up on day 11, and I am like a rocket ship. And I'm like, what in the heck? Like, now don't get me wrong. Like it was tough at a lot of points, but like that next day, day 11 was phenomenal. Day 12 was great. Day 13, we come into Austin. Day 14, then we're like 3 days out, and then like day 15, it's like, hey, we're going to finish in 2 more days. Day 16, so then you have things. So like after that day 10 moment, like that was truly, I see the Midland where I had the breakdown, and then I see the day 10 where I was sitting in the van just chugging peanut butter, which is hilarious because like it was literally just, it was like water because it was so hot. Like, and then we get past, like, we get into Austin. It was incredible.
Yeah. Austin was special. Like, shout out to LSKD for organizing that.
100%. I called Ellie with LSKD, who does their partnerships. And so the idea, we had a meeting. We had a Run Across Texas meeting. The idea, actually, I don't know if you know him or not, came from Austin Clare.
Okay, no.
And Austin Clare is a great friend of mine and a marketing genius. And we're all on a call, and I invited him to the call. We're going to talk about Run Across Texas, how we're going to raise money, how we do this. And he was the one he had the idea. He's like, do something different than anyone ever has. He's like, run an organized 5K right in the middle of it. I'm like, fuck, like, how do I do that? Like, how do I plan that? I reached out to my assistant, and I'm like, how do we plan this? And she's like, I can't plan this for you. Like, I'm not there. And so we get off that call, and I immediately call Ellie with LSKD, and I'm like, I have this idea. And I'm like, Run Across Texas t-shirts, run across Texas 5K. What do you think? And she's like, 100%, I'm in. I will make this happen. And then she got with Allie and Ellie, and then Margot designed the t-shirt, and the whole team just crushed it. They flew out. Yeah. They surprised me the day before and came out and ran with me, which just gave me the biggest like boost that day. And yeah, they crushed it. I mean, we ran an organized 5K right in the middle. We had a meeting point at Lifetime. We had over 150 people come out. You know, they sold these t-shirts, or they donated donation only for the black t-shirts. They sold out of the LSKD by Run Across Texas t-shirt online. Like, we sold out the LSKD t-shirt online.
Insane.
Like,
and it looks sick too.
But like that is like, that just shows you how much support we have. Like they have collab shirts with Patty Mills, an Olympic basketball player. Like, they have t-shirt collabs, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just this kid from Iowa, and I sell out a fucking t-shirt for LSKD. I'm like, this is fun. Like, and not even I sell out. Like the people bought the shirt, you know, which means we were telling such a great story. And it just, it blew my mind. And yeah, the support from LSKD was unmatched.
Yeah, it was so cool being there and seeing all the people come to support, and like whether you knew everyone and friends with everyone, or just people who are like in Austin and wanted to support. So we all get to Lifetime. We're just waiting on the call of like, all right, Matt's close enough. Let's go out to him. So
you don't even know, dude. I was ready for you guys. I was running like 8-minute pace.
Yeah.
Like this is like 44 mile, or no, we did 43 that day. When we hit 40, I was cooking. I was like, get me to my people.
Yeah, I bet.
Funny story. So, because I want to tell you my side of it. So you rolled up, right? Remember, we were like, I was sitting in the van.
Yep.
Well, we parked the van on the other side of this, like the original meeting point. Do you remember the meeting point got moved?
Oh yeah, we were lost.
Okay, so we park at the meeting point, and there's a. My friend Nick is with me. We were best friends in basic training. He's still active duty now. He came down, Ubered out to us. He's stationed in San Antonio at Fort Sam. Ubers out to us, jumps in the van. And he's with us, and we pull up, and there's a fence like blocking the road where we were going to meet and run through. So I look at the route, and my route goes through this factory, like through the grounds of this factory that is barbed wired. I still wonder what the fuck is going on over there. Like, I still don't know. And so like Nick gets out, and because they had to take the van around, and Nick's like, I got him. Like we're just gonna hop the fence. And I was like, we're gonna what?
Yeah.
Like I ran.
I'm not doing that.
I ran 650 miles. What do you mean we're gonna hop the fence? So literally, sure enough, like we go over there and we like throw this like mat over the barbed wire, and he like boosts me up like back at basic training again, and throws me over the fence, and I like barrel roll because I can't stop myself with my legs. And then there's another fence.
Holy shit.
And then we do literally the same thing. We jumped over the second fence because this was like a gated in area. Jumped over the second fence. And then like we follow the road, right? I'm following the route on my watch. We follow the road, and we get to the security checkpoint where the security guard is, and we're on the inside of the fence. And I go up, and I'm like, hey, you're not going to believe me. But I'm running across Texas. Here's the mileage on my, like here's the mileage. I'm because I had the Chorus on that had the full mileage. It was like 680 miles. And I was like, I don't know how, but like, this is my route. I just need to exit. And she's like, how did you guys get in? I'm like, don't worry about it.
You didn't do your job.
Don't worry about it. Just open the gate and let me out, and we're going to leave. So then that was they let us out, and then we went over to the grass where you guys showed up. But it was just funny because like I had to run. That was wild.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Logistics, they worked out at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
We get there, everybody's showing support. I remember my mom was like so invested in this. She was like always watching your stuff. And I remember texting her, I was like, I know he's physically like beat up. Like, you're running so much. And I was like, just the relief that he exuded, and talking to him, like it seemed like he knew this mentally, like get to his people. So
yeah. I needed to see everybody. It was funny for me because truly, like, I don't remember who all was there. Like, you know, they stood me in front of the van, and we took pictures and said hello. And you know, I had a taco from El Hombre food truck. I love those guys. And, you know, but like, I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to this group of girls at the gym at Squatch, and because I had the T-shirts and I was gonna give one to Danielle, and it was Emily and someone else, and I was talking to them and I was like, y'all want one of these T-shirts? And they're like, we have one, we were there. And I was like,
Matt.
I was like, oh well, thank you, appreciate that. And I just remember like that's when I walked away and I was like, I was so out of it. I was lost in the sauce. Like just. I was a zombie, and I don't remember who was there. I don't remember anything about it. I remember having a taco. I remember seeing, Troy Peterson, seeing the LSKD team, but like I don't remember a lot of it. But that night I got to sleep in my own bed.
Yeah, that felt good.
Yeah, but that was a choice where it was like I know this is gonna be really good or really bad, and it was really good. I got to sleep in my own bed, and we drew the line by Lifetime. We drove the house. We woke up early. But I got to sleep in my own bed. I got to shower in my own shower. I got to sit on my couch. It was great.
Yeah.
It's what I needed. I needed that to just send me on my way.
Yeah.
And literally from Austin to the day we finished, nothing cool happened. We just ran. Maybe. I don't remember. But we just ran. But like then, then we just finished.
Yeah.
And that was really it. Like after Austin, it was like, thank goodness.
Yeah. End is in sight.
Yeah, that was day 13.
Yeah.
And we had what? That was Sunday. We finished on Friday.
Sunday, yeah.
So we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, finish on Friday. Nothing happened in the middle of that I can even remember to elaborate on.
Yeah. You get to the end. Remember you telling me Drew takes your phone and headphones.
Oh, that was a key moment.
Yeah, talks to that.
Yeah. Drew will never admit it, but Drew is my best friend. I always say that, Drew's my best friend. He'll never say it. We are best friends. He probably won't even listen to this podcast. But like, if you are listening to this podcast, clip this and send it to Drew Darby. Drew has been there for me since like the day I moved to Austin. And, I moved to Austin last year. Like I needed somebody, and when we shot together and like we became really good friends. And I like, the best friend that like you make in your adult life and then like you guys are just best friends forever. That is Drew and I for sure. But he's very like, he's not emotional ever. Like, unless he sees like a cat, then like if it's a cat, but like to humans, like he is not emotional. This is why it really meant a lot to me. So long story short, he comes out and we're going over the bridge in Galveston. And, by the way, this bridge is long as fuck. Oh my gosh. You've been to Galveston?
No,
yeah.
I haven't, but
well, it's like a 7-mile bridge, and it was horrible. There's like 8 lanes of cars. It was rough. So he comes out, we're going over, and I'm like looking like at the ocean, right? Like this is a pure moment for me. And he comes out and he puts out his hand as I'm jogging, and he's like, give me your phone, give me your AirPods. He's like, give me everything you got. And he's like, this is your moment. He's like, take all of this in right now, because when you get to the other side of this bridge, everything's going to get crazy, because we had a bunch of people meeting up with us. And like that was just like, for me, the listeners probably like, that's not emotional, but like for me, like for Drew to do that, and it was really cool to see him, because like then we had hired someone else to come out and shoot to help, and it was really cool because that was the first moment like I saw him. Amanda's running with me. That was phenomenal. I'll never forget that. But I remember like looking, Brett Ender's driving the van, like just eating donuts. Rob's chilling in there. Like everyone kind of like, this was a moment where like everyone could have like just relax. So we had the other shooter, Chris Gabayan, and Drew put his camera down. And I remember like seeing him just kind of like hang on the side of the van and just like looking off over the ocean. And I was like I was just really thankful, because I'm like he looked content for the first time. Like he had the hardest job of anybody. I the whole entire time. I mean, right? Like he was cutting 3-4 reels a day, posting. He had to capture everything, and it was just cool to like see him. Like Chris showed up, and Chris kind of took over, and like to just watch him like put his camera down and just be able to take a moment was really special for me. And it was in that moment where like everything just became half speed. And I remember like looking at Amanda, and like we're running together and just being thankful for that, and looking at Drew and seeing Brett in the front seat driving. I don't even know where the hell Rob is. Rob's probably taking a nap at this point. I don't know. But like everyone was able to just finally say, we're here. And then we get to the other side, we stop, everyone comes out and runs, and there's so many people. We turn down the boulevard where it's a straight shot to the beach. And I remember, at that point, like, everyone was very loud. Like, everyone was chatting and talking about shit that just, I want to say, I mean all of this respectfully. Like, everyone was loud and just talking about shit that didn't fucking matter. Like football and, and like, there was probably 20 people with me. And we get to the stoplight and I was like, no. And I turned around and I'm like, I want all of you guys to put your phones away. I'm like, I want all of you to be quiet. And I want you to take in this moment for yourself. Because, that was something that I realized out there where I'm like, every single moment that I lived, I'm never going to be able to live again. And, and I'm like, put your phone away, stop talking. I'm like, look around. I'm like, this is the last time that you will ever be able to run with me for the first run across Texas, running into Galveston to finish it off.
Break a record.
Yeah. I'm like, take this in, take this moment in for yourself. Like, I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you, being with me. I'm like, now, like, let's just be quiet and let's just take a moment. And it was silent, and it was cool. And even afterwards, like, some of the guys, they messaged me and they're like, thank you for doing that. They're like, that really opened my eyes to, to what you were doing. And yeah, the finish line, it was just raw emotions. I mean, you've seen it. I just broke down, bro. I just broke down. And because I had been dreaming about that finish line for days and days and days and days. And it's so funny though, because I had all these plans where I was like, I'm going to touch the water. I'm going to do this. Like, I hit that sign, brother. And I was like, done.
Going home.
And no, really, we took pictures, of everybody. We took individual pictures, all of that. And then literally Drew and Brett, I'm not even kidding you. Someone showed up to pick up Rob because he was flying out. A friend showed up, picked up Rob. Drew and Brett went this way to the van. Me, Amanda, Marcus, and Val went this way to the RV. My mom and grandfather went this way to their car, and we headed back to Austin. We were there for less than an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to drink. I don't want to party. I don't want nothing. I'm like, take me home. I want to shower and I want to be in my bed.
Yeah.
And I went straight home. I got in the shower and I got into bed.
Yeah.
And that was like that. I was like, I'm going to party. I'm going to stay in Galveston. We're going to close down the bar. And I was like, no, take me home. I was like, take me home.
Yeah, I bet. I remember that Friday in the afternoon, I was on your website, like, seeing where you were. I was like, to one of my coworkers here, I was like, he's on the bridge, like, he's getting close. Yeah. And then next thing you know, like, you post the picture, like, at the end. And like, all your content was doing super well the entire run. That end, I remember, like, I saw, like, shortly after you posted, I go to comment and, like, 1 second ago, 3 seconds ago, like, and this post was up for like 15 minutes, like, you refresh it again, like, so many people showing the support. What does that mean to you? I know you did it for Valor Fit, raising money for veterans, but the people showing up in Austin, people showing up along the route, at the end on social media, what does that mean to you?
It just shows me that, we, and I say we as in, I mean, I have this entire team around me, right? Like, I have Drew who does, helps me do content, and Amanda and my brother and my family. Like we are impacting people. And we are showing people what is truly possible. We're showing people that they can get out of their comfort zone and that they can do things that are hard and do things that are difficult. And, you can wake up and just choose to be someone completely different. Because that's what I did one day. I just woke up and I was tired of being this person. And I just decided that I wanted to be someone different. And I think that people are seeing that through my raw content of just me being me. I don't give a flying fuck about anything or what anyone thinks. I don't. Like, I am me. I say fuck and I love Jesus. I just said it in the same sentence, like, I don't, like, and if you have a problem with that, I don't care. Like, I am me. And I think that people love that. Like, I don't hide anything from anybody, especially after the run across Texas. I told them exactly how much money we spent doing the entire thing, how much money we raised. And even Troy Peterson, the founder of Valor Fit, called me and he's like, I was talking to Tiffany, his wife, And he was like, I can't believe that like Matt's putting his business out there like that. And then Troy says that she says back to him, because that's who he is. Yep. And I think that that's what people love, is that it's just, you know, they're realizing that they can be themselves. And them showing me that support just makes me want to just keep doing that even more. Like me running across Texas didn't raise $30,000. The people raised $30,000. I'm just a pawn in the game. Like, if I didn't have those people, if I didn't have Drew making content, if I didn't have Rob there to drive the van, if I didn't have Brett there to help me, if I didn't have Amanda there to run donuts, like, I couldn't have done any of this. Like, I couldn't have done this on my own. It took the hundreds of thousands of people that were involved. Doesn't matter if you donated $1. Doesn't matter if you came out and ran with me. It doesn't matter if you were Brett crying because you didn't have a shower. Mm-hmm. You know, like you can't, like, there are so many things in life that you can't do on your own. And I think for me, like, this just shows, like, support your people, because, you know, the more that you support your people, and I don't think I talk about how grateful I am about that enough. Like, you know, but the more that you support your people, like, the more that it means to them, the more it fires them up to do things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so for me, it's just, I don't know. I don't feel like I deserve to be where I'm at. I'm very thankful, and I know that God has a plan for me. But, like, in those moments, I'm like, I don't deserve this. I'm like, you know, I've done so much fucked up shit in my life that, like, you know, I'm like, I don't deserve this. But then again, I go back to the point of, like, it's okay, because one day I woke up and I said, I don't want to be this person anymore, and I want to show people that they can do the same. Yep. And that's what we did. And that's why I don't hide anything. I'll tell everybody everything about my past, because I want you to know that if I did it, you can do it too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the impact is special. I mean, you've had a huge year, and this is the pinnacle of it. I mean, setting out to do that, finishing it, breaking a record. What's next for you? 2025.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to?
You know, this is the first time in my entire life that, like, I finished and I was at peace. And I didn't feel like I needed to do anything. Like, I don't feel the need to prove myself to myself. I don't feel the need to prove myself to anyone else. You know, I've won every distance, the marathon, the 50, the 100. I set the record for fastest time across Texas. You know, for me, I don't know what's next. And, you know, that's okay. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to not have a plan. I'll find it. I'll find 1,000 of them before I find the right one. You know, but yeah, I mean, I tested out the high rocks. You know, we just talked about that, and, you know, that was fun for overall fitness. You know, for me, I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep doing hard things, and hard is, you know, what is hard to me. That's what I'm gonna keep doing. But, you know, going into 2025, like I've already talked about, you know, with you, like, I want to do more things in content. I want to do more things in running. I want to, like, now that I've figured out, like, I can help people with my platform, how can I help even more people? How can I help people in real life outside of my platform? Who can I speak to inspire them to do, you know, great things? Like, how many lives can I change? Like, that's where I am. I don't give a shit about the content, man. Like, I am grateful for the platform I have, and all these influencers, like, followers don't matter. They do, because I have these eyeballs on my platform, and with that I can change lives. Mm-hmm. That, you know, and to me, like, but at the same time, like, it's just fucking Instagram, and, you know, that's the things that I've learned post Texas is, you know, Instagram doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I have one massive big platform. Like, what about YouTube? What about, you know, how can I get to more people to help them? Because if I can find people, like, if I can just, you know, like, I read David Goggins' book and it changed my entire life. That set me on the trajectory to where I am now. So, and that was what, four years ago? So in 4 years, I want someone sitting on a podcast right here with someone just like you and saying, 4 years ago, I found Matt Johnson when he said this. And I have, and now I'm here. Like, that's what I want. And I want it 10,000 times over, because I want people to experience what I have experienced, because everyone deserves success.
100%. What I hear from you is you need to do that internal work and challenge yourself before the impact happens. Obviously, you've impacted a lot of people the past couple of years, but I mean, you talk about it a lot. You come to Austin with nothing, you know, and you push yourself and you find what you're called to and you take action on it. That's the key piece. Taking action, get around the right people. And now you're like, hey, I've done all this shit. I'm going to do more, but like, how can I give back to other people? And that's such a powerful thing, because you can't just wake up one day and be like, I'm going to be the biggest keynote speaker. I'm going to have the biggest podcast and publish these books. You need to figure out, hey, who am I really? Yeah. What am I capable of? What story can I tell? How can I inspire? And then go run with it.
Yes, 100%. And it's just like, you know, you're going to change so much. Like I look at myself when I first ran my marathon in 2022, like I look at that person, I'm like, that kid had no idea what he's doing. He went sub 3, which is phenomenal, but he had no clue. And like, then I look at myself in 2023, right? Like getting out of the military, going through a divorce, moving to Austin and being dead broke, selling my Ironman bike to move into my house. I look back at that kid and I'm like, that kid had no idea what he's doing. Go to September when I signed my first brand deal, had no idea how to do content for a brand, you know? And then like, I look back at myself in January of just this year and I'm like, that feels like so long ago, you know, like you are constantly evolving as a human, and it's okay. Like if you don't feel right where you're at right now in the moment, that's okay. Just keep pushing forward to what you want to do. Like keep moving towards the main goal, and you will get there. And the goal will probably change 5 times along the way, and that's okay. But you will learn so much more about yourself in the process.
I love that. My last question for you. We talked about success last time we were on the episode. Is there anything different about your outlook on success since you've been across Texas, run across it? Has anything changed for you?
Man, I wish I knew what I said last time. You know, I don't think so. You know, success is what you make it.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's plenty of different aspects that you can be successful in. I feel like same thing as hard, right? Hard is relative. Success is relative. Because if I am healthy, happy, and whole, I feel like I am successful. You know, like if I wake up and I do what I said I was going to do yesterday, right? Then I am successful. And if you compound the days of success, you have a successful day, you have a successful year, right? You have a successful day, you have a successful week, you have a successful week, you have a successful month, into a year, into a life, right? So success to me is just compounding wins. You know, if you can just compound wins, right? What's a win to you? It's still relative. So much relativity here. But no, I don't think success has changed to me. You know, I don't see me saying like I am successful. You know, I have had a lot of good things happen to me, but to me, like success almost is like an end game. You know, it's like when you're reading the book and you're going through chapters and you're like, that's a good chapter. That's a successful chapter. But when you get to the end of the book and you look back, can you define all of that as a success?
Yeah.
And, you know, so, yeah.
One thing I want to highlight that you said a little bit ago was everybody can achieve and everybody deserves success.
Yes.
Right. It's not, that's the abundance mindset. It's not like Matt has this, I can't have it. Or this person online is crushing it. Like that takes away from me.
If I did it, and this is what I'm saying, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of people say this, but truly like if I did it, you can do it too. And I don't even know where you start, because I don't really know where I started. But like, you know, I was not an athlete in high school. Like I went out for golf. I didn't do track. Like but like, and on top of that, like, you know, I have a lot of family health history issues. I have a lot of my family is overweight. You know, I have 0 athletes in my family. You know, I'm not supposed to be here, but I chose to make my way here. And, you know, so if I can do it, truly saying that like anyone else can achieve this as well.
Yeah. It's amazing. Dude, I'm so freaking proud of you. Like not just the race, but being able to cut a check for $30,000 to Valor Fit, changing lives, and just hearing you talk about what's next and how you can still impact people and speaking. Like it's not a surprise knowing who you are and what you want to do, but just keep going, because I mean you're doing big things already, but like the sky's the limit for you. So
yeah,
thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks brother, appreciate you having me back.